Hey, what's good people? Welcome back. Wednesday night. And we are live back at it for another episode. Wednesday night live, where we have transitioned over to more of a political aspect of things. Myself and my main man, Deuce, for the Family Bloodline podcast. So while we let the people get on and holler at us real quick, how has today is only Wednesday, but it feel like it's I've been going for the last 2 weeks.
I feel you, man.
Yeah,
I feel
how's
the
your week?
same way. Work's been work. I'm overdue. You've been grinding. You're overdue to take some days off, man. I'm at that point. I'm glad that what are we calling this now? It's Indigenous Peoples Day, right?
Okay, I'll accept that.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what we're doing now. Yeah. So we got that coming up, and I plan to relax, whatever that means. I plan on relaxing. This is a 4 day on this side. What's your plans for Indigenous Peoples Day?
So I not so much of a tasking as it was an asking. Well, for Friday and Saturday, be hanging out with my babies.
Okay.
On Sunday, I'll be I'm gonna go shopping for a unit function that we're gonna have. And
you cooking?
Yeah, I'm cooking.
Okay. All right. So they in for a treat then, man. That chef I know, man, she's still up in arms over the fact that I called you to get advice on ribs. She will not let me live that down, man. I brought the
Really?
store not too long ago. Yeah. Was not happy.
Why she upset about that?
She's a whole chef. And the fact that I had the audacity to call someone else to question her culinary skills on ribs.
You didn't question her culinary skills. I don't think that's what you're doing.
I forgot what it wasn't a question. It was some other, I forgot what the question was, man. But she took it to heart.
Did you have you had her food before?
Yeah, she cooked for a unit function. And it's pretty good. She said she could do better. They picked her last minute. She didn't have time to properly prepare. So I'm waiting for that properly prepare mode type of food, right? So we'll see what it is.
So I mean, but was it still pretty good or?
Yeah, it was. I mean, listen, it was okay. It was good. But you know how you eat food, and the more you eat, the hungrier you become because it's just that good.
Yeah.
Wasn't on that level.
Oh.
It wasn't on that level. It wasn't like, dude, when you did something basic, man, just the wings, right? Just the wings that time I was out there. I had to eat more than my weight in wings. And I wasn't even that hungry when I came over there. So it wasn't on that level. But she's good. I'm just waiting to see where her best foot is, her best up.
All right. I got you. Well, hopefully what is she doing for Indigenous Peoples Day or Thanksgiving or?
When we talked to the store, so she got a gig up in DC to do something for somebody. She was saying it's about, I think she said about 50 people. So
okay,
she'll be cooking for them. So I want to say it was like an African, I think, engagement. So she has to do something a little different. She was excited about it because where we're at, small town, Richmond, they don't test her culinary skills. They want the same basic stuff.
Yeah.
So at least this function, she has to do something different. Because she's from LA.
So what all does she make?
She said she could do anything. But all
That's
people asking for out here is collard greens, chicken, mac and cheese, the basics. But she could do anything. She was naming some foods. Uh, I can't remember. But it sounded like some pretty good stuff.
okay. All right. Well, I wish her luck. I wish
We'll
her
see
luck.
what happens. Yeah.
So, tonight's topics. Tonight's topics, and I sent you a text to see if you wanted to.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I seen something that's happening down in Louisiana about that too, man.
Yeah.
Um, and I
Yeah.
know what's going on in OKC too, right? It's kind of it's spreading
Yep.
out there.
Yep. And so it's going to end up being a trend,
Yeah.
and but we'll circle back around to that. But yeah,
Yeah.
we can touch on that a little bit, and maybe we'll follow up next week on it.
Yeah.
But for tonight,
Mhm.
uh, we're talking about Eric Adams's allegations and
EA.
Tiffany Henyard's alleged mismanagement of
Hmm.
Dalton and the other
Hmm.
township that she's essentially in charge of. So let's jump right into it and talk about Mr. Adams. Mr. Adams, what all did you look at? What did you read? I got to make sure that I send the link out as well. But
Uh,
what all?
so listen, man, I dug in deep on old EA, bro. One, he reminds me of a character that played in American Gangster. Remember when Denzel played Frank Lucas?
Okay, yeah,
He looked like he could have been Frank Lucas's uncle. He just has that vibe about him, right? Even though he was a cop. So I didn't read just one source, man. I went to a couple of different sources, and then I wish I could give the shout out to this podcast. It's a former FBI agent and a former prosecutor that went really in depth. Some of the stuff was high level things about Eric Adams. They did the pro and they did the against, which I thought was pretty good. So multiple sources, man, multiple sources.
yeah. I mean, if you can send a shout out, you can plug them. Ain't
Yeah,
nothing
I
wrong with.
can't remember, man. I wish I could. I think
Oh,
I want to
oh,
say it's I don't want to misplug. I don't want to
yeah.
misplug. Yeah.
Okay. So digging in deep on Eric Adams, what did you come up with?
All right. So, old Uncle E, man. I know we talked about this in the pre-pod before. I think Monday or Tuesday's conversation. And you said I think your brother was like already. It looks like they're just trying to take down another black man, right?
Yeah,
And when you look at
yeah.
the allegations in the whole, it's not as bad as some other politicians we know out there, right? It's not that egregious.
Okay.
So my synopsis from it, the biggest thing, because a lot of things were tied to ancillary people who worked for him. They were doing things. They're trying to find something connected straight to him. I think they're going to use the Turkish government giving him money, disguising his campaign funds. Because here's the thing: New York has this weird thing I didn't even know about. I want to research other states. If I'm running for a political office in New York, I get funds from you, right? Family bloodline when it blows up, you give me a couple 100,000. New
Okay.
York will match me. They will match me. There's a threshold you have to meet.
Right.
They will give matching funds, man, for
For
my
campaign
political
funds.
campaign. Yeah. So that's where the fraud comes in at because the money came from the Turkish government. So you can't get money from a foreign government, right? They
Directly.
disguise it as some type of local company that's giving them money. And they gave him perks because they wanted him to sign off on this elaborate Turkish skyscraper that
Yeah.
didn't meet fire code, right? So New York Fire Department was like, nah, bro, this is not gonna happen. It's not livable. Eric pushed him because he was getting money to build pretty much like a kill scraper, instead of a skyscraper,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
Um, so that was the main thing. They got that. So what they're gonna try to do is dump everything else on top of that to try to win the minds of jurors, right? If you get one thing to stick, I'm gonna throw all this other stuff on you, just as the benefit of the doubt. a lack of the doubt, right? I'm trying to make everything stick that I can because I have this one silver bullet. So that's pretty much what I read up on him. And unlike other mayors in New York, uh, De
Yeah, De Blasio.
Blasio,
Yeah.
he had some investigations. Unlike other mayors, they actually took Eric's phone, man. They've never taken a phone before. They took his phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And it wasn't just his phone, was it? I thought it was other devices as well.
they took all my man's devices, man. I can
Yeah.
only imagine what's on there.
Yeah. So I was reading Forbes. I was
Yeah.
reading a Forbes article
Hmm.
between last night and this morning. I read it probably 3 or 4 times just to make sure I was reading what I thought I was reading, and it was correct. So
Yeah.
the the timeline for the allegations that I'm reading is actually coming from the Forbes timeline that they
Hmm.
pushed out. This article is from yesterday.
Hmm.
It's from yesterday. And so the timeline for Eric Adams, November 2nd, 2023, uh, the scrutiny became clear, and Brianna Suggs, Adams' chief fundraiser, was
Yeah.
questioned by the FBI, right?
Hmm.
But it was an unspecified investigation. It was her and a couple of other people, as well as a Turkish liaison. We had a general at the beginning of Trump's term who essentially got found liable for lying to under an investigation. And before he could be brought up on charges and all that other
Yeah.
stuff, he said that he was acting as a foreign diplomat, if memory serves me right.
Huh.
Which general was that? Which general? Yeah, if you can check, because I was like, holy cow! It's this, like, this is becoming a pretty consistent behavior with these liaisons from the same country. Anyway,
Well,
so
just to jump in on that,
yeah,
who was the senator?
yep, yep, yep,
Menendez. He caught up with Egypt, right? So in
yes,
that area, yeah.
yeah. And so it was the Turkish liaison, as well as a former Turkish airline exec, Yannick Okal. Uh, the homes, their homes had been searched as well because they were said to have been involved, allegedly again, facilitated illegal donations. And so this is November 2nd of
Yeah.
2023. All right,
Yeah.
February 29th, this
Hmm.
beautiful leap year we got.
Yeah.
Hey, Wawa, this beautiful leap year we got. Uh, Adams' campaign fundraiser and his director of Asian affairs they
Hmm.
were put on unpaid leave, and their homes were
Hmm.
raided. Although the details of those raids have not been publicized just yet.
Hmm.
All right, September 9th, in the year of our Lord 2024, the FBI again raided more homes in New York. Other officials that were familiar with the actual matter, and I won't say their names because again, these are all alleged deals that we're talking about.
Yeah.
They were prestigious people, uh, an Adams advisor, former high-ranking police official, and commissioner.
Hmm.
Their homes are raided. September
Yeah.
12th.
Hmm.
September 12th. Uh, there was an announcement of a resignation because the investigations began to create a distraction for the city's police. And the person who resigned, his brother received bribery payments from city restaurants and nightclubs in exchange for favors, and that was given by, again, alleged, an unnamed source.
Right.
September
Which I didn't even
16th.
know. I didn't know there was like a position in government for like nightlife. Because had
Yeah,
I known, I've been living my life all wrong, bro. I've been aiming for the
you
wrong
you and me
things.
both.
I would have been a
You and me.
phenomenal
Yeah.
nightlife. I would have had
Yes.
the tears, man. The young folk, grown folk, women,
Yeah.
man. Listen, we could have. Okay, okay.
Yes. Hey, Poland,
I'm off
thank you. I
now.
appreciate that compliment. I know you mistyped that, but you're really talking about me. But the
What? I can't even see that. Oh man.
yeah,
What
I'll
was it?
highlight. Yeah, I'll highlight it for
Yeah.
you. Welcome in, Pola. Good to see you. Hope your father's
Oh
doing well.
man. Oh man. I appreciate that.
I
Thank
hope
you.
your father's
Thank you.
doing well.
Oh man.
Richard, I'm gonna bring you up in a second. Give me a quick second. I'm gonna keep pushing these talking about this timeline for
Michael Michael Flynn.
thank you. Yes.
Yeah. I remember that now.
Michael Flynn. Yes, it
Yeah.
was Flynn. Thank you.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yes. So that was September 12th. September 16th, the hits just keep on coming. Look at and not Richard backstage writing notes, it looked like almost. Uh
Oh man.
September
Let's go.
16th,
Yeah.
uh Cordasco and Anthony Savino.
Hmm.
Oh, yeah, this is the one that I wanted to mention because when you were talking about the city fire department, right?
Yeah.
The city fire department's Bureau of Fire Prevention when they did not allow Eric Adams is the mayor of New York of Manhattan,
New York.
and he's New York, and so
Mhm.
he's right now he's under investigation, and he's being there's a lot of people trying to coerce him into resigning his position.
Mm.
And right now, what we're doing, Polar, is we're going through the litany of investigations that have been run through because of what the FBI has begun to dig up. Because this is still
Mhm.
ongoing. That's why everything is alleged. But it was said allegedly that the fire chief, I want to say, hey, At, he complied or he began to become complicit in the threats of actually certifying that skyscraper under threat of losing his position.
Mhm.
So yeah, I wanted to throw that out there. He was arrested and accused of accepting thousands of dollars in bribes to accelerate fire safety approval for the buildings project, right? And we're talking about that actual skyscraper that the Turkish consulate wanted built by a specific time. Now, what we also
Mhm.
didn't mention
Go ahead.
was the flights that Eric Adams was
Mhm.
taking on Turkish Airlines to the tune of
Yeah.
16 grand, 10 grand, so on and so forth. All right. So that part
Yeah.
has been linked to him directly.
Mhm. And that was done
Uh,
pretty creatively too, because he could buy a baseline ticket and get a free upgrade, right?
right.
Or buy a ticket to one location, and you know how you do, you cancel your flight and they give you
Yeah.
points. His
Yep.
points are like multiple, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then the timeline, they wanted to buy the UN meeting that happened in New York, right? They wanted it before the Turkish president, I forget his name, before he got here to attend that meeting.
No, Polar, he can't be Chicago's a tough city to run. And like I'd compare it. It's very comparable to trying to run New York.
What's
Uh
that? Chicago?
yeah,
Mm.
I think Chicago's another tough city to try and
Oh
manage.
yeah. I mean, how many mayors
Yeah.
have they had recently? Yeah.
Well, they Lightfoot was the last. Well, Lightfoot was recent. She lost, and I can't remember who they got in position right now. But
Hmm.
pushing a little bit forward in this timeline because I'm actually at the end of it.
Hmm.
Uh, September 24th, David Banks announced he would resign at the end of December amid an investigation into him and his brothers, Terrence, uh, the consulate, and Philip, whose phones were seized by agents who believe the brothers are involved in a bribery scheme involving some of the city's nightclubs and restaurants, people with knowledge, so on and so forth. October 7th, Philip Banks, Greco, and Mohammed Bahi, Adam's senior liaison with the senior's community affairs unit, resigned while Abrozovo was fired, though Phillips' attorney said federal officials informed him he was not targeted by an investigation.
Hmm.
Unnamed sources. And then October 8th, Wright announced his resignation as prosecutors charged Bahi with federal witness tampering and destruction of evidence during an investigation into illegal contributions to Adams' 21 mayoral campaign. So that's the timeline for
Hmm.
for Mayor Adams thus far. I will. I'm going to pull Richard up and see where he is with this and where he stands. You ready for that?
Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I know he's
All
gonna
right.
bring that energy.
Here we go. Here we go. Welcome on, Rich. Hey, Paula,
Good
you
evening.
got some young men up here tonight, and then you've got a beautiful motherfucker in myself. But go ahead, Rich.
I like how you had to identify yourself. But hold on, I'm not ready for Rich. I didn't know we were doing button downs, my guy.
Right?
He looking professional right now.
Yeah, he's got a very studious look.
Like he's coming from the courthouse right now.
Oh man, don't say that. Goodness, we feel like we running for our lives in this town.
Well, hold on. Hey, Deuce.
Yeah.
Now I'll be in court tomorrow morning.
Golly,
so you laughing, but you prophesying at the same time. So, all right. I'm just saying.
Is it for the stuff that you've been dealing with?
Wait a minute. No. So the union stuff, I'll be back in the courthouse at the end of the month on that situation. And then my appeals, hopefully I'll be able to send my opening brief sometime this month once they contact me. No, tomorrow is about defamation.
So, that's always hard. That's a tough one.
So a lot of times when I'm saying things about people, it's not like I'm just talking for free. I'm telling you, I'm going through it. And I'm not a lawyer. I don't know everything. And unfortunately, as Deuce said, a couple of weeks ago, the news media won't tell you everything.
No.
So with Mayor Adams, remember Mayor Adams was elected. He was a media darling.
Sure.
And then the minute he said, hey, this migrant situation is a little out of control.
You think those two things are correlated? You think they correlate? You think they marry?
I'll tell you what, and I'm not. Could it be somewhat of a racial issue? Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to Mayor. God, I can't remember his first name. Cuomo, the son. Remember when they said he harassed those ladies?
Oh, you talking about the governor?
The governor.
The governor.
I'm sorry, Governor Cuomo of New York. When he said he harassed those ladies and all that.
Yeah.
And he was basically saying that's his age generation. That's his culture, his Italian culture, real, handsy, touchy. Yeah. They ran him out of office. And when they ran him out of office, ironically, all of those cases against him went away.
I haven't heard anything else about it.
That's exactly it. So with the Me Too movement, they had found him guilty, Mr. Cuomo, Governor Cuomo. In fact, his brother was trying to take up for him. He got ran out of CNN.
He did.
Okay. So, and they were like, well, basically, we want you to say that you did wrong and that your brother was wrong. He said, you know what? That's my brother. I guess I'll be looking for a new job. So with that as the back burner, when we look at Mayor Adams, the Turkish Airlines. Now, what I saw on that was it wasn't in the thousands. It may have been like a $500, $800 upgrade.
I thought that was per instance.
Now, because New York City is one of those rare cities that have so much international business.
Yeah.
I mean, look at it, for example, Wall Street, right down the street.
Okay.
The United Nations, right in that region.
Okay.
Okay, so this city is unlike any other city in America. So these mayors historically have done some things that were maybe questionable. And I think the most questionable was the corruption of the Tammany Hall. New Yorkers would know what I'm saying. This goes back years ago. So all these New York mayors, are they playing by the book perfectly? No, they're not. Now, these are just allegations against Mayor Adams. Now, what they're saying is your whole crew was helping you get away with all this stuff, and we're going to pick them up. We're going to pick them apart one by one. We have this conviction rate of 95, 97%. We're the feds. We're the Southern District of New York. We're the most powerful federal court attorney district in America, if I'm saying that correctly. And when we come for you, it's over. So you've already basically convicted Mayor Adams in the court of public opinion. But you're good at this because you've already convicted Mr. Combs.
Well, I think it's hard to actually, for the court of opinion to convict Eric Adams versus P. Diddy. Right? I don't think those two line up in the same fashion. And the reason why I say that is because this is, notwithstanding, the Adams doesn't have the behavioral pattern that Diddy does. So I'll put it in those terms, right? He's not been in court since '91 trying to clean stuff up. There's not a list of bodies that he's been around that have mysteriously passed away, right? So that's why I can't correlate those two things directly. And even with that being said, just to piggyback off of you do have something that you said that I absolutely agree with, is he was a media darling, right? So it's not like he has a behavioral set or a pattern or historical movement, as it were, since he's been in office. He's been in for 3 years, and they're only able to go back. This timeline only goes back to 2023. So I think he's in a ballpark by himself. And with that being said, I don't think he's smeared in the court of, like, I don't think he's directly guilty. Like, in my opinion, I don't think he's directly guilty. I think he skirted the letter of the law and the spirit of the law and made his bed and rested on both sides of that line. But I think he's smart enough to know how to do things in a specific manner to where he's not going to just give himself up.
Well, now we get into race then, because you said he's smart enough that he skirted the letter of the law. You can skirt the letter of the law if you're white.
No, you can absolutely step on it. If it's a skirt we're talking about, you can lift it up and grab it by the vagina, according to some.
Right. But what do they tell every black official? I heard this too. When you're elected, you're held to a higher calling.
Well, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So when people say that we're in a post-racial America, that's not true. Here's the part that gets tricky. If you're, in my opinion, if you're African-American in a position of leadership, if any money comes up missing, it's over. If you misspent that money, it's over.
But I don't want you to go too far down that lane, because that'll mess around and that'll force us to segue into the second topic. So stay.
Whoa, that's totally different. Yeah.
Yeah. So hold that thought. But I do.
Okay, you always got me holding stuff. Okay,
I know. I'm sorry. I apologize, but I do want to get to this question, like Wanda's asking, but why? Right? Why are we held to those different standards? Why do we have to be the platinum, or as it's been thrown out there, the platinum plus plan?
Well, listen, if you're African American or you're a Black American, if those two things apply, if you acknowledge that you are a descendant of the enslaved African, if you acknowledge that, if it's true for you, then you know your foundation. So when you lay a foundation for a home or for anything, that foundation is critical. So for those who were, quote, descendants of the enslaved African, that was based on the fact that the Africans were inferior people and that they should be enslaved for life, and that slavery was a unique type of slavery. Even in the Bible, you may have slaves for a period of time and then you set them free. You still allow them to have their names. You still allow them to have their religion, their culture, even in Egypt. But in America, in the Americas, that wasn't the case. So that's why when they say, in my opinion, when African Americans go into office, they say you can't do the same things that your counterparts do because you don't have the foundation of coming to this country as an equal, as an immigrant seeking a better life.
Okay. And so let's absorb all of that and process it. And let's say I agree with everything you said. And it's the same question that I asked you, I think Friday. If we know that those standards are in place for us, and we are held to an above average standard, why don't we meet that?
We're human.
Okay.
We're human. Whether you're black, white, Latino, it doesn't matter what race you are. When you put people in a position of power and influence, there's a possibility they may make some mistakes. It's no different than our federal government or our state government in all the states. When people are put in positions of power and influence, there's a possibility they may make some mistakes. In the city of New York, one of the most powerful states in the nation, a leader state, in New York City, there's going to be a level of corruption that the federal government even knows about and turns a blind eye if they like you.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that. Because they might have plans for you later on. I don't know. Deuce, what you got?
Okay. So I'm thinking about the racial line. I'm trying to take it back to old Uncle E. I'm gonna call him Uncle E right now, Uncle EA. We ain't talking about EA Sports. So with that, you think about New York mayors, because how you say his name? De Blasio.
De Blasio
had charges levied against him, right? A few other mayors had charges levied against him. Now, when you look at who all had actual indictments in office, there's only 3. Because the Basio's had allegations. There's only 3. One was back in the 20s, man, Jimmy Walker. Sound like a black man, but we know back in the 20s he was not black. The second was William O'Dyer. Then we got Eric Adams. William O'Dyer was back in the 40s, bro. So this is the first time since 1950, that's when this term ended, that a sitting mayor has been indicted in the New York City. So it could be something to that, possibly. Or it could be maybe he was just he was too in your face with it. Literally let's be real. Politicians do a lot of stuff, but forcing the fire department chief, when they would not sign off on this building, forcing them and threatening them from his mouth to the fire chief, threatening him to approve the safety codes for that building. That could cause somebody that you could ruffle some feathers that way. That was pretty in your face. Now, to Rich's point, I think the totality of the charges are not as great as some other politicians that we see of different colors, different races. I agree with that. But I do think that maybe he was a little too much in your face. And let's consider his heritage. Where did he come from? NYPD. He was a chief of, I think he was the head of the NYPD department, right?
Yeah.
So coming from there, NYPD, like APD, is known to be rough, in your face, straight shooters, right? So you're coming from that world to the political world. Maybe he took some of that NYPD mentality, in your face, I'm gonna go through you to get it done, to this new position, ruffle some feathers. I think that's what happened. And because that he's black, it was easier to cast his net over him.
Okay. I can pick up on that.
Now, he is black. He's not like Trump accusing Kamala of like race shifting. I said was black. He still is currently black.
Yeah, he didn't. Yeah. So the calls to resign and step down, I agree with him. I don't think he should. I think he should remain a stalwart in his position, and he should continue to push back, especially now. And the reason why I say that is because we've had over 3 years of someone who hasn't, of someone who has not actually conceded. What the hell, Wanda?
What happened? She went away.
Someone who has not conceded. I don't know. She hopped on and hopped off. I don't know if it was an accident or what. But we've for over 3 years, we've had someone who's not conceded the election and has continued to put out misinformation, right? And so if we can allow that at that level, if If we can allow that at that level, that's all right. Notwithstanding the multiple different things that are coming out behind that, even to here recently, the fictitious movement of FEMA and the federal government not providing assistance, right, to different areas, right? If we can allow that to happen and continue to have a person run for the highest seat in federal government, I don't think this man needs to resign. I think a standard has been set and he needs to follow it.
I agree. There's one slight difference. Eric, I listened to who do you call the people, man? The city council members talk about it. And there's one that's gunning for Eric Adams. Like she's gunning for it. She's going for his neck. She brought up some key points. There are things in her district that needs to happen. She's not able to make it happen because she's calling people and they don't have their freaking cell phones. They're not able to execute the duties of that office because the Fed took their electronic devices and they weren't able to push out new lines of communication. Well, he's not in. He shouldn't be allowed to run, but that's a whole other topic. He's not currently a sitting president. Where Eric Adams is a sitting mayor, and the Fed taking his devices inhibits communication to him and to those people who are affected by this. That's the only
the difference between
bottom line with what you're saying though.
Yeah. What you got on this one, Richard? And then we go on. You got to come back with that transitional piece you had that I asked you to hold on to.
I think he's right.
So you don't think he should resign either?
Resign? Oh, boy. The man has not had his day in court.
Yeah.
You were innocent
until
proven guilty or convicted. You know, when AOC said, "Oh, he needs to step down," that's political. That's not about justice.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't think it would be good for the people if he stepped down.
I don't. The process.
Even the process, right? But I think it would undermine the process totally. But it would also cause the people to lose even more faith in the government systems as it stands. And we're watching multiple things play out on different levels. Speaking of that, that's that transition. There is somebody who should step down. And I know there's a lot of allegation running around about her because she hasn't been convicted of anything either. So she, as well, is innocent until proven guilty. And that is Tiffany Henyard, the mayor of Dalton. And I can't remember the title for the other position she holds for the other town, the neighboring town. But from what I've read, she has been running rampant. She inherited that elected position with a financial surplus in that town. And at this point, after an audit has been done, they are $2.8 million negative. By all accounts, she has done something wrong, and she's in your face covering it up because she's telling the board of trustees they ain't finna get nothing to do with an audit. They can't. You can't see anything.
Yeah.
What are you about to say, Richard?
I don't know. Because she won her election 82%. She went to she graduated from high school with honors.
Okay. Went
to college, Robert Morris. Okay. Graduated some some cum laude. Yeah. So she's a smart cookie. And usually 9 times out of 10, people who are that academically intelligent, they're not going to steal. They're not going to do any. I said what? Usually 9 times out of 10, people of that nature don't steal. But if I'm incorrect, I'll be incorrect. That's fine. because they're telling us all this stuff about this person. And my thing is this. If this African American woman had did all these things so horrendously wrong, they would have filed charges on her. Where's the feds at in her case?
They're investigating her also.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She's already had one audit done by Lori Lightfoot, and they're about to conduct another one. However, since Lori Lightfoot is not working directly for a firm, she doesn't have the power to subpoena any of the financial documents.
Who was Lori Lightfoot?
She's the former governor of Chicago, or mayor of Chicago. Mayor of Chicago.
Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That's who I thought. Okay.
Yeah, and she came under huge scrutiny also.
She's
Now,
investigating. She's investigating Tiffany.
yes, yeah. She's an unbiased. She's the attorney general. She's unbiased in the matter. She doesn't have any play in the game.
Wait, Lori Lightfoot's the attorney general?
If memory serves me right. Now I might have to go back and look at that. I'll look that up. But yeah. Yeah. So let's go ahead. Go ahead, Deuce. What you got? Yep.
Well, no, I was thinking about
Don King, the lady that looks like Don King.
I didn't want to say anything about it, but she does have a strong resemblance to Don King. It's uncanny how close they resemble each other, especially her mini fro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, Tiffany's wild, man. Tiffany's a wild card. Like I've seen some footage from her city council meetings where she dares the city council to do anything. And to Rich's point, the intelligence, the smartness, I think is in play because she's not turning over those documents. She's not turning over the documents that could prove her innocence. So that gives you some concern, right? If you're innocent, you're gonna post those receipts, right? She's holding on to those receipts. And then some of the things she's done, man. Actually, I just encourage everybody to go to the website. What is it, Dalton? Just look at the Dalton City website. Any program that Dalton is doing has her picture over. There's something she's doing like a going back to school for kids drive she did. Kids in the background, she's front and center. Festival, it was a festival with Kiki Wyatt, Jeremiah. Was it a singer called Jeremiah? No, not Jeremiah.
Yeah, there's a guy named Jeremiah.
Now I'm gonna take you to bed.
Are you for real this time, Wanda?
I'm for real this time. Just for a hot second though. I'm gonna let y'all have it because
Yeah.
I be tired.
So that she had two big artists. Her picture was in the middle, right? So all I'm saying is, she loves the spotlight, man. And I think this position is enabling her to spend free money, taxpayers' money on everything she wants to do.
I just pulled up her picture. She a baddie.
Yeah, she's a beautiful young lady.
Yeah,
absolutely. Born 1983, she's 40. Yeah,
she knows it.
Yeah.
So
I mean, even when it comes to the point of intelligence, there is such a thing called the criminally insane or being a deviant because you're so intelligent. Absolutely. So let's look at just running down off the top of my head some of the things that she's done. Right. Allegedly. Her personal security detail, $1 million. $1 million, right?
Y'all don't want her to be safe?
Not like that.
Not like that.
Not like that.
She was paying those cops.
Who can put a price on a life?
I can.
Okay, so what is your life?
Especially with the taxpayer dollars.
If the price on your life depends on.
Y'all live in Dalton. Y'all don't live in Dalton. Mind your business.
The price on your life. The price on your life depends on how much life insurance you're willing to pay.
And she was willing to pay $1 million.
That's not life insurance. That's taxpayers' money.
Hey.
Now, if it was her own, so
worth it.
She gets paid from 2 towns. She gets paid from 2 towns. Right now, she gets a total of $300,000. Right, $240,000 from one. Go ahead.
Talk about how she got that. That was not the pay scale before she got there.
It was not.
She raised it. I don't know what the number is. 10 times it.
Actually, no. So she didn't. When she took the seat, she maintained the actual pay for the seat. But what she did was for the next person who comes in, it decreases by 90%.
Should she not be compensated for doing her job?
I like that.
No.
Are you compensated for doing? Don't you feel like you need to get more to do your job?
Oh, I am in retirement, but not right now.
But you feel like you should get more, correct?
I feel like a lot of things. I feel like I should be rich.
Okay, and she was in a position to do so. Continue.
No,
But
not
she's
like
using. I love it
Carry
though.
on.
She's using the
Carry
taxpayers'
on.
money though.
Hey, carry
that.
on.
Now, this is at the expense of the taxpayer, mind you.
Money that could be going to schools, to city improvement.
Right. So let's also remember that the average income
How
in
she
that
gonna
town
do that if she dead without her security detail?
30
How
grand.
they gonna do
Think
without
about
money?
it. Come on now.
30 grand is the average. She pays almost people's salary for a billboard, one billboard in that area.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So let's also take into account the allegedly.
Okay, I say that might be a little much. Okay,
I'm just
keep
saying.
going.
Allegedly the lavish trips that she's taking. That's my cousin. And I can agree with that. You just got to. So Polar Knight said, Jay Glass, you are rich. You have Wanda as your friend. That's my cousin.
Oh,
Cousin sister.
hey, no lies detected.
Yeah. So the trips that she's taken out to Vegas have been
I
on
like
a tax.
Vegas.
Oh, I do too. But
Was
I
it
pay
for a
for.
conference? Was she there for a conference? How you know? Was you there? How you know? How you know? How you know she wasn't there on business?
All reports indicate.
See, just
All
because you
reports.
mix business with pleasure don't mean his business was not handled. We don't know
I'm not
that.
saying it wasn't. However,
know
in
that.
certain positions, it has to be documented and it has to be justified. Like I can't go out of town on the Army's dime. I can't book a trip to Vegas on over my government credit card and live it up and expect not to have to pay for that.
I mean, you could, but you just got to be smart enough to get away with it.
Oh no, you can't get around that.
No,
They're gonna get you. Absolutely. Rich, you were pausing. You were trying to pause a couple of times. My bad, bro. Go ahead.
I'm playing devil's advocate here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure.
Because y'all not finna just beat up a black woman on my watch. That's not finna happen.
Oh, I'm not beating a black woman up at all. At all. If I was beating up, it would be a lot of different words being said. What I am saying, pointing out, is how she's doing wrong.
I mean,
and just because she's a black woman doing wrong doesn't mean we can't.
It may be a little wrong, but it ain't the worst that's been done.
Just because, I agree. But just because she's a black woman doing wrong don't mean that we ain't supposed to do the same account.
Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, we got.
Yeah.
So here's the question I want to ask.
Okay.
Have we seen your policy file or bylaws that states her powers, what she can do and what she can't do? Have we seen that yet?
So going through
damn allergies, tell them to leave you alone, cousin.
I know they doing me.
Hold on, wait. If we can rewind the tape, what did you do before you coughed?
No, we ain't gonna rewind no tape. We gonna take Wanda's comments and concerns in consideration.
Wanda good, man. Wanda came through with that cover.
Hey, I'm not one that you keep on your team for sure. That one you keep on your team for sure.
I didn't think about it. You said allergies. I said that's not what I saw.
Damn it! Look, I'm the one you keep on your team. I'm gonna have your back regardless. So, but carry on.
But in response to Richard's question, right? Have I read every jot and tittle? I have not. But what I do know, however, is as a government official, be it federal or state, you cannot use tax-funded monies to sponsor a trip in its entirety if you're on leave. So, say for instance,
do we know for sure that all the money was taxpayers' money and none of? Because you said she got a big check, right? She get paid a lot. So how?
Well, I will thank you for asking that because that moves me to another point, and I'll go back and answer that question, Richard. So here recently, she was served an eviction notice for the house that she's renting because she's broke. She has a GoFundMe. Yes, she's got.
She ain't getting enough money from the taxpayers. We gotta do better.
I can't even stand up on that one.
We gotta do better.
But Rich, no, I have not. Yeah, I have not read every jot and tittle. However, What I do know for sure and 100% certain, if I take a trip, right? If I take a trip to, let's say, Vegas, because I used to have a unit down in Vegas, right? And I decided to take leave during a certain portion of that trip, that the monies that were spent during that duration, the hotel, the food, the rental vehicle, the gas for the rental vehicle, and any other cost that I would incur, right? Those are my responsibility and my responsibility alone. Now, once I jump back into an official capacity, then that would change the dynamics of who's going to have to foot that bill. So if she goes to Vegas and the entirety of the trip is on the taxpayer, what she's saying is that there was no point during that trip where she did not act out of an official capacity. Now, what she won't do is produce the receipts that shows the timeline. And that's why her trustees are having an issue with her.
So what y'all think, she was out there just twerking and Dreas? That's not what she was doing. That lady was out there trying to get some funds for her. Where she at? Dalton? Where the hell is Dalton?
Outside of Chicago. Outside of Chi-Town.
It's a suburb. It's a
She
suburb.
was trying to get some money for Chicago.
Look, I think she's a little bit too classy to twerk. But she can tease you.
She got twerking.
The classy one twerked the best. Hey.
I think she got twerking.
Hey, I bet you she looked like she can twerk. Real talk.
She got twerk energy.
She does. What are you thinking, Rich? Yeah.
You know, if you show me a politician that takes a business trip and you think in those 24 hours, a man who's a politician away from his wife and kids is going to be doing everything around the clock for the taxpayers that he represents, you're in the wrong country.
I'm with Richard.
If he's black, his black man don't cheat.
If I can get y'all to get on the jury, I'll be satisfied.
Real quick. To that point.
Black man don't cheat.
Okay.
Baby.
So, but you know,
they all cheat. Black,
you
green, yellow, orange, blue.
Listen,
all of them.
Business professionals, whether they're politicians or not, know that when they go on business trips, when they do their 8 hours or 10 hours of the day, the rest of the day is up to them and how they want to spend it.
Yes.
So I don't know if it says that when she takes her business trip as the mayor of Dalton, that the entire 24 hours in each day she has to be doing for the taxpayers. Once she accomplishes her business in that 8 hours or 10-hour workday, that in her free time on that business trip, she can do other things. I don't know.
Yeah, but that's also
not that. It's the funds that she's using to pay for those other things.
Look at these black men just trying to bash a black woman. Go for it.
Oh,
yeah, it's called per diem, right? That's why you get your per diem.
That's right.
You know
that's true.
Come on, bash a black woman. Let's do it.
So here's another point.
Favorite pastime.
Here's another point. The city,
black women.
the city is also in jeopardy of their police vehicles being taken.
Where Kanye at?
Yay,
Chicago. Where's
trying to make sure his marriage.
He's from Chicago. They got plenty of money. They can put back into the Dalton.
Make his marriage work.
Where the Chicago Bulls?
They the ones making money too. But
I know. I just bought tickets. So
we have her house that she's renting, that she's in jeopardy of being evicted from.
Are you sure? Are you sure of that particular fact? Are you absolutely sure of that?
Yeah. I read it probably 15 minutes before we hopped on.
Do you trust that source?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where's Thornton Township? Where's that?
It's like a neighboring town.
Mm-hmm. She's the supervisor, I believe.
Yes, thank you. She's the town supervisor. Mm-hmm. And that's where she's making the other part of her salary from.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
The Section 8 housing. She did that wrong.
How she messed up Section 8?
She messed up Section 8 because she got tons of funding to get things fixed. And then she wouldn't allow the inspectors to go in and do their due diligence so people could move into the housing.
Hold on. Wait a minute. See, this is interesting to me because of what I'm going through with my own union. That's why I'm kind of quiet, because when I look at this, it says that she, per Wikipedia, was elected May 8th, 2021. Yeah. Then it says in October 2021, the Board of Trustees voted to require Henyard to make any hiring or firing of village employees subject to the board's advice and consent. So prior to her being elected, it appears that the mayor could hire and fire village employees. But when she showed up on the scene, now they got to advise you and consent for you to do your job. That sounds funny to me.
You got to keep reading because lower it talks about why. It talks about the why. And the why is because there was an sexual SH allegation from another young lady who worked in her department that did not go along with her brand, right? Mm-hmm. And so she moved to unlawfully fire her.
No, hold on. She moved to terminate her for whatever reason. So she had that power to do that. That was an allegation.
Until the board said, no, you're not going to just get rid of her because...
No, she did that. She did that prior to the board taking the vote to say that we will control who you hire and fire. So she had the power to terminate that person. Then the board got mad and said, well, we don't want you doing that, so we're going to take that power from you.
The board didn't get upset. The board saw the undue reason as to why she was trying to fire her.
That's her opinion. That's an opinion.
That's why the board stepped in, right? And you're right, that is an opinion, but it's a logical extraction of the facts, right? If you have a boss that has the power to hire and fire whoever they want, but there's somebody that's already on staff, and they try to abuse their power on this person and begin to move to fire this person, but your board of directors say, nope, time out. We're not going to let you go through with that. That's why that young lady's actually suing her.
I tell you what, hold on.
Another black lady suing another
black lady. Wait a minute. This is very similar to what I went through with the union that I used to belong to, that I'm fighting to get back into. Very similar.
I think it's similar. I think it might be similar, but similar ain't the same. Hear me out on this. That's why I asked you, show me in the bylaws or the policy file the mayor's duties. And she was exercising as a black woman her duties. And then this board said, we don't like you exercising your duties. We never wanted you to begin with. And that's a payback, and we'll make it look reasonable. So if you try to terminate somebody that we like, regardless of the reason, we'll take a vote and take those powers from you. And now the fight is on. And that's you can't do anything. Is it exercising power and due diligence, right? Just because you have power doesn't mean that you're just authorized to become a dictator and abuse it.
No, wait a minute. See, that's what I was accused of being a dictator, but that's an absolute lie. But anytime an African-American goes into a position of power and exercises that power, if you don't play along and keep the status quo going, that organization, city, that county, that state, that country, President Obama, then you're a threat. And if you're a threat, they'll get you up out of here.
See, the reason why I said it's similar, not the same, is because she's got an all-black trustee board.
Okay. Again, if they are trying to continue the status quo, and Mayor, how do you say her name? Last name Henyard? We'll just call her Tiffany. Mayor Tiffany says, we're not going to do things the way we've done it in the past. I'm going to do things differently with the powers invested in me. When the voters voted for me with these powers to get things done a different way. And the board said, you know what? We don't care about the voters. We'll run this the way we've always run it, get you out, and we'll get you up out of here.
But that's the difference, Richard. They're not pushing back against changes. They're pushing back against abuse.
That's their opinion. That's their opinion.
No. Here's a fact. She got for her office alone, a $70,000 vehicle. abuse of power without running it through the trustees.
Wait.
No. This is what I asked you.
Or the taxpayers' money?
It's the taxpayers' money.
But I asked you. I said, do
It's
you
the
know her?
taxpayers' money.
It doesn't matter about the taxpayers' money. I asked
It
you.
absolutely matters if it's the taxpayers'
Do
money.
you know the powers when she was elected by the taxpayer? They gave her powers. They gave her powers. And I asked you, did you know the mayor's powers when she was elected by the taxpayer? You said you did not know.
There's a board of trustees for a reason. Just because you have power does not mean that you can go and spend the taxpayer dollar the way you want.
No, that's not what I asked you. I said, no.
Wait a minute. Talk one at a time.
So what wait, I can't hear you.
I'm not saying anything.
Nobody's saying anything.
Yeah, because we're taking turns.
Hold on.
We are taking turns.
I'm sorry. I'm watching on Facebook and I'm going to the website.
Okay.
We're taking turns here.
So what I'm saying is, when she was elected, there was a bylaw or policy file that stated her powers, whether you like it or not. And in those powers, she has the discretion to use her powers to her ability, to whatever she decides. And she doesn't need the board's consent, period.
But that's what
your turn, Pat. Okay.
But that's what I'm saying, Richard. Even with the powers that she was given, she's
debate part. Like, what's the people that be the moderators?
The moderators.
Yeah, that's me tonight. I got it. Let's do this.
She's overstepped and abused her authority, right? And that's encapsulated in her refusal to give the board of trustees the receipts from anything, right? Even when it comes to the firing of a person. Well, if you want to fire them, but right, there's a process. Yeah, you can't just walk up to a person and say you're fired. There has to be a justifiable reason, right? Mm-hmm. So the president can't just walk up to the vice president and say, hey, you're fired.
Wait a minute, hold on a second. Wait a minute. That's different.
It's
because
not.
The president, no, it is different. Here, I'm gonna explain this to you. This is why I've gone through this already. I know this. The board sometimes will say, we don't care who you elect, we're gonna still control this city, this county the way we want to. Mm-hmm. When the president of the United States is elected, he can't just change the laws of Congress. Congress makes the laws. But what he can do, or what she can do, is by executive order do certain things. And they have that power, for example, to secure the border. They can write executive power and shut the border down, and there's nothing that Congress can do about it. Period. Now,
that's not true either.
No, that is true. Because that's what Trump did. Oh, it is true. And the Supreme Court the Supreme Court upheld that. That is true.
Trump never shut the border down.
When Trump came in office, he wrote out certain things by executive order. In fact, President Obama did the same thing. He sent more people back than any other president, but he doesn't catch no ding for that because he's a media darling.
But you said he shut it down, and he did not.
What I'm saying is, by executive order, he put things in place that wasn't in place by Congress to basically slow the immigration, the illegal immigration across the border. Yes,
that part I agree with. That part I agree with.
And when President Biden got in there, he wrote an executive order and reversed it all back. Those are facts. And so
the way you just said it the second time, I agree with you. But saying he stopped it
but he slowed it down. Okay.
Sure.
So what I'm saying is, when she was elected, her powers are stated, what she can do, and that she does not need the board consent. And what happens in all the political situations is when a mayor or the governor does something that the legislature or the board doesn't like, then they throw a fit and say, well, you did wrong. We want to know why you did that. I'm not tell you anything. These are my powers. I don't answer to you on these powers that I don't have to answer to you on. Because that's what they said about me when I was running Local 1000. They said, well, we don't like how you operate, blah, 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 blah. But these are my powers. And when the last person was here, when she conducted her powers, you didn't say a damn thing. But she was a black woman that played the game and did what she was told to do. But when someone is truly doing something different and they don't like you, you got to go. And that's what Mayor Adams is going through. When he first got elected, he's a black man. He's in New York City. Isn't it so wonderful? But the minute he said, We got to stop this illegal immigration. They said, oh, hold on now. You must have forgot who's in the White House. We Democrats here. We allow illegal immigrants to come to this country and be exploited for their wages. Oh, we allow that. We want that. And in the state of California, once you get here illegally and you obtain a driver's license through trick, form, or any other fashion, we're going to send you a ballot in the mail.
Right. And so what I'll agree with you on again is when you are elected.
Where you get that pen from?
I've had it.
Now you out here just looking all studious and stuff.
You've been working
Come
that
on.
pen all night.
I know. I'm like, you.
I have
pen?
been.
Hold on.
I really have been.
Look,
I got a pen too.
Got my little note.
Let me get me
No,
a
man, my
pen because
pen's
I feel like I
obvious.
need to have a pen to get my point across. Go ahead.
And so where I agree with you at is when a person is elected to a specific position, they inherit certain powers of that seat. Absolutely agree. However, we can't forget the checks and balances, right? Even if you're doing the right thing and it's something different, you're going to have the naysayers because they want that position. You got a target on your back, right? That goes without saying. That's neither here nor there. That's going to happen. However, when the majority,
I love it when you say that.
when the
It's fun to me.
when the majority of the trustees, when 9.8% out of 10 of your board of trustees finally say, you know what, that is an old. That's
overstepping. I thought you was going to get a pen.
Yeah, you got to get a pen, bro.
That's a spoon.
I mean,
okay. All right.
I'm scooping up all this information right now. I'm scooping it up.
Hold on. Let me make this point. You've actually overstepped boundaries, and they have to then begin to execute on their duties. For one, actually taking in consideration the town budget, right? Because the spending that she's done is going to directly affect the constituents of that area, and they're going to they have to raise taxes on the people and not her.
I got a question. I just got one question. How in the world did they let her get this far with that much money in a deficit before somebody said anything?
And that's the thing. So I've been actually following this for the last few years. It's been it's been a horrible buildup. And at one point I was like, man, they tripping. She out here doing her thing. She out here in these streets. She walking. She's got events set up.
Hey, Pola, hella funny.
Going from one side of town to the next side of town. She's out here promoting the people. She loves the people. And then I started looking like, wait, why isn't she turning in her documents? Well, what substantiating documents and showing that what she's okay.
How much money did they say that she was in a deficit? How much?
$2.8 million.
How do you let it get that far? Because if you stole $20 from your job, somebody gonna say something.
Yep.
So how did we let it get that far?
By abusing.
I think it's a mix. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was saying, I think it's a line where Richard was saying. She has her left and right limits, right? But she's abusing that. So she's taking it too far. So maybe she's not coloring outside the line. She's just coloring really freaking heavy, right? I think that's what it is.
Yeah. I disagree because y'all still have not reviewed her powers. And so for you to say that she abused her powers when you don't even know what her powers are, you can't say that. You just can't.
If she has a $2.8 million,
I would say it's not taking this. Yeah, it's not taking the township into almost $3 million in debt. That's not good stewardship.
I tell you what. When you say she's 2.8 negative, but when she entered office in May of 21, God, May
had
of 21,
a surplus.
That's when I entered office. That's why I find this so ironic. When she entered office, she had a surplus. Now, as Wanda said, from 21 up to now, she's been allowed to run amok.
She has been.
I don't believe that.
Her opponent, the women that were running against her have been harassed and threatened by her cops, by the police force in the town.
Was she reelected?
You know what? I got to check and see. No, she's. I don't think she's had to go through a re-election yet.
I think it's the end of 25.
End of 25, but they've Yeah, they've called for a review of the ballots because they want to reballot her, and that's what she's fighting against now.
But keep in mind, all right, if you're making 200 plus in this position, and you already put a law in, the next person comes in makes 25,000. I don't want to run against you. It's not worth my time or effort.
It's not.
Also, she's making more than 49 other state governors.
I'm sorry. How much money is she making for her salary right now?
300,000 between the two places that she's in charge of.
Wait a minute. Hold on. So one is a mayor and one's a supervisor?
Yeah.
She's making more from the supervisory position than the mayor is like 50,000.
Yeah.
Everything else is coming from the supervisory position.
So mayor's 50,000, and then 250 is coming from the supervisor?
Mm-hmm.
240, 250.
All right, so we're gonna say 250 to make it go up to 300. And is there anything in the bylaws or policy file that states she can't make this type of money?
No. That we're not arguing against that. We're not arguing against that at all.
Okay.
No.
Well, I do have a counterpoint against that, because I mean, one reference I saw that she was making more. Okay, the highest paid governor in America is Gavin Newsom, right?
Yeah.
Annual salary $232,000. How on earth is a supervisor from a township, not even a full city, making more than the governor of one of the largest economic drivers in America?
Well, I would say the taxpayers voted on that, but maybe I'm wrong.
So I don't know if they voted on it.
Because for Gavin Newsom in the state of California, from what I remember,
there was a vote.
From what I remember, because it was a big old thing. They didn't want to pay state employees any money, but the state legislature voted to give themselves a pay increase and the governor. So the taxpayers put the legislature in, and then they voted. Now for Tiffany, I would say maybe the constituents of Dalton voted for this.
I don't know. What I do know is that it was a carryover from her predecessor, right?
Yeah.
And so, her mentor, her predecessor, is the person that put that in place. She inherited that. So that's nothing that I can argue against. What I don't like, this is that abuse of power thing, is that and this is also her push to disenfranchise somebody from running against her, as well as having anybody else in the trustees' positions. Anybody else who fills those positions next, her position directly has a 90% decrease in salary immediately.
Yeah. Where do you read that at?
Give me 1 second. I will pull it back up.
And that's for the supervisor, correct?
Supervisor.
Yeah.
Yeah, not the mayor.
So you're saying that anybody who becomes a supervisor in the future, they won't get the same salary as a current supervisor?
They won't. She put that in place.
Did she have a vote to put that in place, or was that her mayor powers or supervisor powers?
I think it was her. I think it was a supervisor. That's just what I think. I'll go back and read it a little in depth so that I can see it. I can see it directly, and I'll send it to you. But that's something that I don't agree with, and that to me, that's an abuse.
All right,
that is an abuse.
All right, so here's what Wikipedia says. If Wikipedia is telling the truth on this particular article, for Tiffany, her annual salary supervisor is $224. All right, so it's really $224, but that $250, $224, that's close enough. Okay, equal to her predecessors in 2017. At Henyard or Tiffany's urging, December 2023. Listen to this. At her urging, December 2023, the township, either the voters or the trustees, adopted a resolution that would result in a future 90% decrease to the supervisor's salary. So she didn't abuse her power; they voted on it. She urged them to do it, but she didn't have control of the vote.
I mean, you said the operative word.
Urged.
Urged.
Thank you.
It doesn't matter. I can urge you to come. Take over California. That don't mean you're gonna come up here and try to take over California. So the township, the voters.
We had a sitting president that is being looked at for inciting an insurrection through words.
Actually, those people who went to prison because this is where I talked to another friend. They went to prison for stopping the operations of Congress, not for insurrection. That's where people are kind of been misled. They didn't go to prison for insurrection. They went to prison for stopping the operations of the federal government's operations, not for insurrection. That's the news media, the liberal news media keeps saying insurrection. That's not the case on why those people went to prison. That's fact.
Definition: violent uprising against an authority or government. Definition of insurrection.
Right. And that's what the liberal news media wants us to believe. What I'm saying is when those people who went in there and did all that stuff violently and stopped the federal government, the legislature, from approving the electoral college, they stopped they did it non-peacefully. And so when they were convicted, they didn't get convicted for insurrection because someone checked me on that. And I said, okay, I got it. And then they showed me on the internet that it was for stopping, I'm not saying it correctly, stopping operations of the government, not for insurrection.
The definition
that's caused.
But they didn't.
I think it's caused
insurrection. They did not go to jail for insurrection. That's the fact.
I got you, but I think it's cause and effect. They gathered there and they initiated that movement, insurrection, right? That was the initiation, right?
That's
the
correct.
effect was to, and the purpose was to stop government, to stop Vice President Pence from certifying the electoral college. Yeah, that was the purpose. Right. And if you're saying that's why, yeah, I get it. I'm out here struggling. I'm poor, right? I don't go to jail for being poor. I go to jail for committing a crime, robbing a bank.
Right.
I get what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah. I get what you're saying.
All I'm saying is when those different judges was convicting those people from 2 or 3 years up to maybe 14 or 20 years, they were convicted not for insurrection. There was nowhere insurrection used in that conviction. So when I go back to Tiffany, when you said that she was abusing her power, no, she didn't. She urged the township, but she couldn't control the township. Now, is the township just the trustee, the board of trustees, or was it?
It's just the trustees. I just looked that up. So that was not put to a vote. That was just done by the board of trustees.
So they voted on it. They voted. So the same board that you said don't like her, and they're, I guess, 90% black or whatever, they voted and they agreed with her. So 1 minute they saying she's being bad, and then the next minute they say, okay, we like this, so we'll do this.
I'll make this point. Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Well, I was gonna say, I want to tie it back to the conversation we had about Diddy, right? A lot of people were trashing Cassie. If all this stuff happened to you, why did you stay with them for so long? It's that power dynamic, right? She was bullied. It's a power dynamic, etc. And I'm not comparing Tiffany to Diddy. I'm comparing the power dynamic. With Tiffany, she is, you said urged. And even in her interviews, I've seen how she talks to the council. She is very
belligerent.
She's
bullish.
Yes.
You're going to do this.
And I don't know if she can hire, fire, replace them, what her powers are with them specifically. But she has them in a state of mind to where they'll just bend over and give her will.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. When black people, when we talk, when we make love,
it's not.
Hold on a second.
Okay, fair enough.
When we talk, when we make love, when we dance, when we play sports, we're coming from an African-based culture. So it's very expressive. So when we're talking tonight, people may say, oh my God, they're going to fight each other. No, we're just expressing ourselves. So when this black woman is expressing herself and being firm and being strong, where are you, Wanda? Being firm and strong. Now she's considered, she's kind of aggressive. Everybody can't be a Michelle Obama. Everybody can't be, when they go low, we go high. Everybody ain't Michelle Obama. Yeah, that Michelle and Barack Obama, that perfectionist standpoint, that's going to cause more high blood pressure in the black community.
I don't disagree with that, but we're not asking her to be Michelle Obama either. And we also understand the difference between black passion and flat out bullying, right?
That's objective.
It's subjective to people who don't understand that part of the culture.
Well, wait a minute. So if
subjective.
all three of us were subjective. So if all three of us were watching on video in December of 23, her urging to reduce by 90% the future salaries for supervisors, which includes herself, we all may have a different opinion. So she didn't abuse her power on that particular instance. And that's why I said, when you were talking about this, I said, well, hold on, Mr. Glass, because this sounds similar to what they were saying about me. Because I was doing something totally different than what had been done in the past for well over 20 years. So, I'm not saying she's perfect. And when you say she won't produce the receipts, because let me tell you what they did to me. They said I was out here spending money all crazy and stuff, and I was getting my shirt starched up for the videos on Wednesday night and whenever I did videos. And come to find out, when we turned over the credit card receipts, that's all they showed about me, was getting my clothes starched up. But in the past, the former president was paying people off, and it was legal. She was giving gifts of $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. She took a trip to Israel. She did all kinds of stuff. But she got away with it.
Generals have to go to specific training because they understand the positions that they're in. And if they begin to overcompensate in the position that they're in, they could put the troops under them in jeopardy. If they urge leaders to do something that they know we probably shouldn't do this, but you're seeing stars urge you to do something.
You're doing it.
You're going to do it.
Yes.
Because you're sitting in a position of power, right?
And that's the most unique in America. That is the most unique situation, organization, because when they say you're guilty until you prove your innocence in the UCMJ. So when you go to that, you're talking about a whole new world.
No. Because we're still talking about power dynamics. That's what we're talking about.
That's special, though. That's a different.
I'm not disagreeing with you that it's special, right? But the dynamic of it is that's a person in a position of power who has great influence on the outcome of a situation.
So
she is a person in a position of power who has an extreme amount of influence.
You don't know
on
that
the outcome. She's the mayor.
No. Because I asked you at the very beginning, I said, well, Mr. Glass, what are her powers that are enumerated to her through the bylaws or policy file or whatever governing documents for the township of Dalton? You said you didn't know. I said, well, we got a problem. We've got a problem.
No. So you can play the black tape if you want, right? But logically speaking, if a person is the mayor of a town, there is direct inherited influence and power that comes with that position.
No, it's not. You're absolutely wrong. Because right here in the city of Sacramento, there was a power struggle because former Mayor Kevin Johnson wanted more power. And they were like, nope, we ain't giving you nothing.
That's what I'm saying.
So if you don't know what it says enumerated in the governing documents,
if he did not understand that he didn't have a specific amount of power, he would want more so that he could do different things.
Yes, that's right.
He understood his power dynamic. That's what urged him to want to get more. And people said no. She inherited that by the position already being there.
No, you don't know that. You don't know that because you don't know her powers. You don't know her powers.
If she's able to take a town with a surplus to a negative $2.8 million, how can you not
bad
that correlation?
Well, hold on a second. First, wait a minute. If the FBI is really doing an investigation, if I trust the FBI to always tell me the truth, because I don't, that she took that surplus and went to a 2.8 negative, and they can show me the financial statements, then I'll shut my mouth. But right now, it's just accusations.
And that's the issue that I have with her, because if she had nothing to hide, people that don't have anything to hide don't hide anything.
Okay.
She would be willing to give those receipts.
Yes.
What if
Yeah.
you feel like it ain't none of their business?
It
that's
is their
the
business.
problem.
He's a
It is.
public
That's
official.
literally part of their sole business.
Yeah.
For the
You
board
He's
of
a public official.
You
Yes.
don't know that because we don't know what the governing documents are for
That part I do know. That part I do know.
Are they asking
Spending is
other
public.
government officials
Yes.
for this information?
Yes. Her board of
Government
trustees.
spending is public.
Yes. They're supposed to be doing the
But
budget so that
are they giving this same energy to other officials?
she's the
Other
only
officials-
official.
Yeah. It's
She's
public.
only
If another authority asks for your spending record, it's public knowledge. It's government money. You're supposed to produce that. If the townspeople wanted to know, hey, how are you spending our money? She should produce that because she's a representative for them.
But
They're not
she
asking her
has
about her
decided-
personal checking account.
Yeah. She's decided not to, and that's the issue.
Mhm.
They're supposed.
Maybe
There are
she's trying to
vendors.
prove a point because they haven't asked anybody before her for these records or whatever.
Because they were
I hate that
provided.
argument. I hate that argument.
They were provided. They were provided.
Because no, but wait a minute, Deuce. You may hate that argument, but Wanda makes a valid point. Because if you allow a certain level of play for a period of time, and then a new
I like
person,
that. I made a valid point.
so no, and I'll tell you legally why she makes a valid point. If you allow a certain type of behavior or whatever for a period of time, and then a new person comes in, and then you hold that person to a different standard, no, that doesn't work.
Agreed. That's why that's why I agreed to the salary that she had, because that's something that she inherited. Right?
Okay.
She didn't have to do or say anything to get that type of salary. However, again, like I keep saying, if she would produce the receipts so that the board of trustees can properly balance the budget, pay the vendors that aren't being paid, fix the roads, fix the housing, right? If she would produce the documents so that they could do that, I would have nothing to say.
Wait a minute, hold on. So this is where it gets a little deeper. If what you're saying is accurate, that she won't produce the receipts, and she's put the township of Dalton into a $2.8 million deficit that's going to show up somewhere in those taxes, and if the IRS hasn't come,
they haven't been able to do anything. That's what I'm saying.
you can't duck the IRS. You can't.
Oh yeah, but you can continue to get extensions, especially at the city level, right? You don't have to file directly at the same time, so they can extend it out, and they've had to because they don't have the documents to go with the proper filings because she won't produce it. She's literally refusing to.
And
if a person,
let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you this. Did we ever find out what the term length is for that mayor? Because I was trying to find it. Here, I'll look up this Dalton Township. Oh, God. Dalton Township.
It's Thornton.
Mayor
Thornton Township, Dalton City.
Okay. So hold on. I'm going to see. Okay. She won with 82% of the vote. Oh, God, give me this. Just give me the thing. I want to know. I just want to know what the period is. What the time length is.
It's 4 years.
It's 4 years. Okay.
4 years.
Okay. So 4 years. So in 2025, she's up for re-election.
yes,
So if she's doing all this stuff wrong, Mr. Glass, then she's no way she's getting re-elected.
no, that's not true.
Yeah, that's
It's
not
not.
true at all.
That's not true. Okay.
No, it's not. Again, the one of the biggest things that she's done to make sure she holds that position is as long as she maintains that position, the salary does not decrease.
That doesn't matter about the salary. That's
It absolutely matters
That
about the
does
salary.
matter about the salary.
no. Wait a minute. First, you say it says here on the supervisor's salary. We're talking about the mayor. We're not talking about the supervisor's salary. We're talking about the mayor. So which salary are you referring to? Because
The biggest one, the supervisor.
That's the supervisor. So that's already done. That's already done. That's already been agreed to already. That gets reduced.
The mayor's salary is just $50,000.
So why do you keep saying about?
So I'm getting them backwards then. Yeah, I'm getting them backwards. Right? So if she doesn't give that supervisor position up, right?
Okay. So what? I don't know. Okay. So that's for the mayor. What is the supervisor's term then? I don't know that.
So I gave you the supervisor term, which is 4 years.
Oh no, I thought that was the mayor.
Oh,
Okay,
you wanted the mayor? I got you. All right.
Yeah. So the 4-year term is for the supervisor. So she was elected in 22, so that'll come up in 26.
So here's a question about the salary part, right?
Okay.
Did she get impeached?
They're trying to. I don't think they're going to be able to do it. If you were a regular citizen who was tired of the situation and you're making $55,000-$60,000 a year in that area,
Okay.
and you take a position, you run against that for that supervisorship.
Okay.
Are you going to take that position and have your income slashed?
I think the question is, she didn't slash it. The board, like he said, they
That's
slashed
besides
it.
the point. But that's besides
You
the
said
point.
she.
No.
You said she urged the board.
Listen, I can urge somebody to move to Mars. That don't mean they're moving to Mars. So when I'm
Because the influence you have over that person.
No,
Yeah,
that's not true. That's not true.
Oh, come
It's just
on,
not.
Rich. You know that
It's-
influence is a factor.
Because again, I said, what's the governing documents? So okay, let me ask you like this: in the governing documents, does it state that Miss Tiffany can just take them trustees and kick them off the board anytime she wants?
No.
She can't.
Well, then they got protection. Then she don't have control over them. She can't control them, and they can't control her. That's
why she's fighting.
She has some influence, though.
Right. There is influence.
No,
Again, she has the cops.
If I can't take your job from you, if I can't decrease your salary, then I don't got no influence over you. And then when she said, okay, but then you got to show me. Then you have to show me in the governing documents that her powers give her the ability to take it to the board and not give them the financial documents that you're asking for. Obviously, if it was in a governing document that she has to give them the documents, then they would have taken her to court and she would have to produce those documents. See, this is what I'm saying. I know what I'm talking about because I've gone through this already.
I'll do you one better. I'll do you one.
Goodness gracious!
Right? So you dodged the question.
What question I dodged?
The question was directly about salary. Would you be willing to take a decrease?
Mm-hmm.
If you were
Nobody's gonna take a decrease for doing the same job.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I did it already. I did it. I see. This is where y'all. This is where you were incorrect. I've already done that. See,
would you
because when I took the position as the president of the union back in 21, and they had a salary stipend, I said I'm not taking that salary stipend, which would increase my salary, and I'm not going to sign for the 3 vice presidents to take the salary stipend either. And that was part of my campaign platform. I would not take a salary stipend
voluntarily.
I volunteered to run for that position. I still got paid my regular salary if I was working for the state of California.
I'm saying that's exactly what I'm saying.
No. Listen to what I'm saying.
It's different.
I had a chance to make. No, it's not. I had a chance to make.
You had a chance too. But Rich, here's a key point, man. You as the incumbent, the new person on the block, you volunteered not to. What Tiffany is doing is she's saying no matter who the next person is, she's taking that choice from them. The minute she's out of office, the salary goes from 250 to 50,000.
No, it goes from 224. Okay, but hold on a second. She didn't make
to 50.
Okay, but she did not control the vote. The board voted on that. Now, is she allowed to take a vote with the board to reduce? Because they agreed with her. So on 1 minute, hold on. On 1 minute, you said, well, she's out of control. She's spending money crazy, 2.8 million. But the next minute, you're saying, well, now she's reducing the salary of the supervisors. So which one is it?
Rich, she's doing both. So one of her appointed duties is over hiring and firing, not of the board, but of people like the police chief, department heads, administrative staff, right? So we all know, especially how much money she's paying certain cops. She can use them to harass other board members. That's using your influence, right? I'm not saying that's been done. I'm giving examples, not saying it's been done.
That's a good example.
Through administrative staff hiring, she can fire the board staff and replace him with other people that would not work with him or her. We've seen that happen in political office too. I'm not saying she did that, but within her bylaws and powers that she has, she could wield influence to do those things. And I have to research to see if she has done it. But I feel like there were other reasons that we don't know as to why the board bent over backwards.
You sound funny.
So
What
my
was that?
question is, in those governing, well, listen to this. In those governing documents, if the mayor is out of control, normally there's a provision that says, oh, you ain't acting right. We get ready to recall you. And the board's the same way, the trustees.
That's what they're trying to do.
She fought the recalls.
Okay, so in the governing documents, there's a steps that you got to go through to recall, even for governors.
Yeah.
Because Newsom went through it out here and he beat his recall. So these are these steps that you have to do to fight a recall. So she can't just illegally fight a recall because they'll take her to court and say, hey, we want to recall you. We have these many people who signed a clearly marked petition saying we want you out of here for financial misspending.
So
and it's
to
just
that
simple.
To that point, a judge recently told her he would hold her in contempt if she illegally placed a sheriff in a sheriff that she wanted to hire, right? He'd hold her in contempt because he told her that that's not the right way to do it. She's trying to do it illegal.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Wait, no, wait a minute.
What are you saying?
Your mic is messed up.
My mic?
No, Wanda's.
Oh.
And so let me give me a second. Because I got to go back a second, right? And here's the difference between what you did versus what she's doing, right? Okay. So for the union position that you're fighting for, right, or that you were fighting for, you said that you wouldn't take any increase in pay, right? But you maintained your base salary. The person who would actually have to try and get that position, they would directly lose income from taking that position. They wouldn't be able to support themselves if they got that supervisorship.
Again, I asked you, did she when the board of trustees voted on that, was she one of the members who voted on that? Because she didn't control the vote. And you already said the board does not like her. So why did they agree with her to reduce the future supervisor salary by 90% if it wasn't financially responsible? You can't answer that question.
I can, but you're not actually accurately describing what you read, which was she urged, right? There was an urging, right? So if, let's say, even though she can't fire the people that's on her trustees board, right? She still has a position. And that position that she has, she can make life miserable for them to where they will resign. We see people.
I asked you in the governing documents, does she have the ability to fire the trustees or take away their salary? You said that she does. Well, then she don't have that type of power to influence them. No, I'm sorry.
But I just went down. I'm sorry. Line of how she could influence them.
You did. And a weak-minded person. And a weak-minded. Hold on a second. So on one hand, you're saying she can hire these crazy police people, employees, and they can harass the board. But on the other hand, the board's got their chest out saying, we're gonna save Dalton. We're gonna stop this woman in her tracks. So 1 minute they strong, and the next minute, I'm so afraid of her. Which one is it?
It's the same thing.
Your Honor.
Because what you actually, let me equate it to this, right? So when fighting for civil rights, right, it was still a very tumultuous thing. Now, what was being said is, no, we don't have any influence over you like that. But there were dogs being sicked on people.
Yeah.
Right. There were other external. There were hoses being turned on people. There are people that go to work every day that have to endure bullying by somebody that cannot fire them. And so to just simply say, well, she doesn't have any influence. She absolutely does have influence on their everyday lives when they go to work. Okay.
When the trustees voted that they said, we will advise you and tell you who you can hire and who you can fire in December of 23. After that, when she tried to hire somebody and the judge said, you can't do that because the board voted to change that. I have no dispute with that.
Yeah.
I don't. But what I'm simply saying is, if they could do that, then what kept them from recalling her? Somebody ain't telling me.
I got that. Okay. Wait, hold on. I got that. So hold on. Can y'all see me? My little power thing came on.
Where you going?
Can y'all see me? All right, y'all can see me. All right, whatever. All right, so here's the thing. So the recall, I was looking at when Rich brought up that question, why was she not recalled? I'm like, why? That's a good question. So just highlights. The Dalton voters voted to recall her. It was 56% of the people, 56% of the voters, almost 57, 56.5 voted to recall her. There were 2 votes, 2 questions. One, they had to create the mechanism to recall her as a mayor, not supervisor, as a mayor, right? They did that. The second question was, do you want to recall Tiffany? They voted yes on that, right? Majority won. The reasons you beat that recall is a technicality. When they voted to establish a mechanism to recall her, a county clerk needs to certify those votes. Here's a mechanism to recall the mayor. Certify it. The next round of votes says, do you want to recall Tiffany? They added it to the same vote. She won in a technicality.
Because they didn't vote to quote create, because they didn't vote to create the recall first. That's what you're saying?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. They didn't
both
get
together. Yeah.
They didn't get the separate stamp. It had to be 2 separate things.
Yeah.
Clearly marked, clearly stated on the thing. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good defense. I got to give it to her. That was an excellent defense. I took some research, I'm pretty sure.
Well, hold on. Wait a minute. Remember, we went to, at the very beginning of the conversation, I said, Tiffany graduated with honors from high school. And then she went to college and graduated with honors. And I said, people who are usually that academically smart, they're not going to really do corruption just blatantly and over the top. So she was smart enough. Okay, go ahead, Deuce. Go ahead.
I disagree.
I'm gonna say Nixon was academically the dude was smart. He got caught. I'm gonna bring you a personal point. Okay, I think people work harder to protect their ass than they do to do wrong. Case in point, when I was in the Drill Sergeant Academy, I was there for another course, the AIT platoon sergeant course, really stupid, but we had the same classes, right? They had this thing: if you fall out of 2 runs, you get dismissed. I fell out of 1 run because they ran every damn day, and I'm not a cardio guy. I fell out of one, got a counseling, right? Second time, you had to get 2 counselings for it. The second time I fell out, I caught back up, and they called everyone who fell out come and get this counseling. Bro, I stood in formation straight, knowing I fell, but the people that got caught, they snitched, right? They snitched on your boy. So I got added to the group. And they said, Sergeant Coleman, you going home. I said, hold up, pause. I was going through every guide they ever gave me. I was in week 3 of the course. I didn't read that stuff before. But when they said the next morning you're going to the commandant's office to get relief, bro, I did not sleep. I read everything I could. I stand straight and I stand tall. I said, I never got my second counseling statement. And they were like, God damn.
Oh, wow.
You're out. So
wait a minute.
People put in a lot of effort to protect themselves, but they don't put that same effort sometimes to do wrong, especially in her case. She's been there since 2021. If you've been there for so long and you're doing it, we take it for granted. We get a little lazy, right? And that's how people get caught. The greatest criminals, they get caught because they got lazy. They kept wanting more and more and more. So I hear your argument. She could be a genius. I think we put it to work to shield ourselves from getting caught, but we keep doing wrong. By nature, we take stuff for granted. So that's my point with it.
Well, then wait a minute. So when they voted the 56% for the recall, was that in 23 or 22?
That was June 28th. All right. Late. So I'm gonna say it's 22 because it said by late 2021, board majority of the villages class. So I'm gonna say it's 22. It says June 28, but it doesn't give me the year. But since the previous one talked about 21, I'm gonna say 22.
So check this out.
22.
If she was such a detriment to the survival of the taxpayers, the people of Dalton, when they screwed up that recall by not having 2 separate items saying first, we want to create a recall, and then second, do you want to recall Tiffany? All they had to do was fix it and run it again, and they didn't. That tells me she's not a detriment.
I don't think it works like that.
Okay.
I don't think it works like that because they have to go through the process all over again.
Listen, when they tried to recall Newsom, they failed the first time, but they made it happen on the second time.
Was it the first day? Well, was it the second day rather?
No, they said that they didn't have enough signatures. So when they tried to recall him the first time, they said, we're not going to do a recall because you don't have enough signatures. So they had to run it a second time to prove that they had enough signatures. So when they failed, on this,
yeah, that's why they're doing it again.
Okay. And this year,
I got to go back and read, but they are going to run it back.
Okay.
But also, another thing they had to fight, something that probably took some time. Illinois' law does not provide for recall of village officials, so they have to create this from scratch.
So they had to create it, like you said. We want to create a recall because Illinois doesn't have it on in the law in the books. And then, once we create this recall, do you want to recall Tiffany? And if the people say yes by overwhelming majority, we want to create a recall, and then they say yes, we want to recall Tiffany for her bad behavior, for her financial misspending. Bam, bam, she's out of there, and it's over. And the reason why I know about the recall so well, because my union knew they couldn't recall me. I had the support of a small group of people. So they said, well, we're going to kick him out. We're going to suspend him. We're going to attempt to suspend him for bad behavior, even though I had already suspended the duties of the 3 VPs. My union said, we don't care about that. The hell with you. We're going to suspend you anyway. And then we're going to find a black man that's going to uphold our suspension of you, and we're going to kick you out of our union and keep you from running for re-election. And then we're going to believe that our liberal court system in the city of Sacramento, our judge will uphold our decision, won't even listen to the facts at all, and throw your case out on demur. But all these other things that you've done on temporary restraining orders, when he throws that out, you'll be able to appeal that. So when I'm talking, I'm not talking for free. I'm telling you, this is what I've gone through on a civil situation, on the portrayal of an angry black man who doesn't want to listen, and he just wants to do everything his way. But by the powers vested in me by the bylaws and the policy file, before I was elected president, I had those powers to do that. And it was my discretion on how I interpreted that stuff. They said, we don't give a damn about you. We'll get your ass up out of here. You don't want to support Gavin Newsom. You got to go. You don't want to have everybody vaccinated. You got to go. We think you're a black Republican. Get your ass up out of our union, Richard.
Yeah, and that's under California state law, but this was Illinois.
Right. California state law allows for a recall.
But our union documents state a recall in our policy file if you think your leader has bad behavior or for whatever reason. So, but they went around another way through the disciplinary route because they knew they could get away with it. So that's why I say when people are being portrayed, and unfortunately, when it comes to African Americans, we're already up against a situation of race. So in some cases, Mr. Glass, you may be right. Tiffany may be out of control. But so many times, African American leaders have been accused of being out of control when they were not out of control.
Yeah,
so,
I don't.
So until she gets her day in court, these are just allegations to smear her in the court of public opinion. It's worked because 56% of them said, get her out of here.
Yeah, but I don't think that's in the public opinion when it comes to the actual constituents. I think it's because of that $2.8 million that she got them into.
That's not proven, though.
The $2.8 million?
In deficit? Yeah.
Yeah, that has been.
That's not proven.
Yeah,
proven by who?
Yeah, that's why they did the audits. What's up, buddy?
Well, hold,
Hi, Bubby.
Wait a minute. You said, hold on a second. Now you said they did the audit, but you said that she wouldn't give up the financial statements to do the audit. So which one is it?
So they can show what's missing. They can show what's missing when you do an audit. If you don't have the records to match up, that's how you get that imbalance.
How did they do the audit without the financial statements?
So if I say that I have an expenditure for $500, but I don't have the money to pay out, that's a deficit.
You don't have the receipt.
I don't have the receipts to show the justification for this money, right?
You can't do no audit without the financial statements. And
But
you
that's
said
what
that she refuses to provide. And so here's my next question. If she's
If I say-
refusing to provide the financial statements, and Deuce says that a government agency, public knowledge or public spending, you have to provide that, then they should take her to court and say, produce us the documents. And then that would be that. They haven't done that.
If I say that I went out and bought 50 widgets, now the money for the 50 widgets, well, I have the 50 widgets, right? And I've paid for it, but in order to actually complete the process, I have to have the receipts to show, but I don't have the receipts. That's how you get caught up in a deficit, right?
But what I'm saying is, when she is the mayor and she's doing all this, whoever the chief financial officer or the treasurer for the city of Dalton, they have all that information because she's not doing it herself. They're dispersing those funds. Oh, yes, they are. So if she's doing all this wrongly, and the people think she's doing it wrongly, all the board had to say is, you know what, we're going to file a lawsuit against you. That's what they did to me. File a lawsuit against you so that you have to show the financial statements so that when we say that you're doing wrong, we'll be able to prove it with our audit off the financial statements that the court ordered you to give.
Yeah,
and
but
they
that's
have not done that. They have not done that.
They recently did that. Right? Yeah. So they're moving in these directions because they didn't know how much they had. They didn't have. They knew vendors were complaining they weren't getting paid, so on and so forth. Right? They were able to pull up the documents that showed where she spent it's $69,000, but they rounded it to about $70,000 on the vehicle. Right? They're able to show that she's got this detail, but there's no justification or the receipts to go along with it.
How do you know about the $70,000 on this vehicle?
Because they pulled. There was one video that I was directly watching when I first came across it, where she was literally arguing with her board of trustees about like a $4,500 difference of what they said. Because the woman said it's $70,000, and she was like, "I didn't pay no $70,000. It was $69,450 some odd dollars." And she was like, "Okay, you got the vehicle." And she was like, "Well, you know, as a city official, I should be able to blah, 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 but you got the vehicle." Well, I'm but you got the vehicle.
Does the governing document say that she's not allowed to use government, to use that city's finances to purchase a vehicle? Because if it doesn't explicitly state she cannot do that, then she didn't do anything wrong.
I'm not saying that's the part of. The part is she's not giving the actual receipts. There's no justification. They can't properly balance their books and do a proper payout. She
may not be perfectly right, but she ain't perfectly wrong either. And
I won't disagree with that. But so is in that movement of not being perfectly right or wrong, she's abusing her power.
No, you don't know that because you don't know the governing documents that control her powers. I keep asking you, have you seen her powers enumerated in a bylaw, a policy file, in the city's charter on the mayor's powers? Until you show me that list that says, Tiffany, you can't buy no vehicle over $25,000. Tiffany, if you buy a vehicle over,
I got a cousin named Pookie that would love to be your accountant.
Again,
I'm just saying.
Hold on, but Fat, I went to Fat, I went to school for finance, so I'm not talking out my ass. So what I'm simply saying is this:
I know what you're saying.
When people are being slick, they're not going to show those financial statements. How do I know this? Because okay, and so all you have to do is the trustees just have to file a lawsuit. But you said they've done that recently. They should have done that back in 21 or at least in 22. What took them so long? So she hasn't been a detriment the way they claim she has.
Maybe because she was a black woman that they was wanting to believe in.
Okay, I accept that.
Yeah,
I accept that.
Because I wouldn't even if I had a sister that I was like, God dang it, you making this hard. You are making this hard.
Right.
Why? Why are you making this so hard? Like now I got to outwardly push back. No, stop doing this. Right. I'm not finna automatically just like, you got to get out of office. I'm not, I won't do it. I'll be like, listen, this is, you're ruining us. You've ruined us.
Have you heard from anyone, family or friends in the state of Illinois who have an insight on this issue, Mr. Glass?
I will call my dad and ask him. Actually, my stepbrother lives in Joliet.
So they have not provided you prior to this podcast They have not provided you no inside information that the rest of us don't know about.
Yeah, no, because I also haven't talked to Peter, James, or John, or any of the disciples, but a lot of people keep telling me about Jesus.
On that note, thank y'all for coming out. God bless you. Good night. Because, like, seriously, really?
Okay.
Really?
Hey, that was the point. That was the
You're
point.
a dick, bro. Like, you are a dick. Like,
that was the point. That was the
Hey,
listen.
I
When you
like
talk
that,
to
'cause
people,
Rich was on
listen.
the roll right there.
Listen, when you talk
Cut
to
it out.
people, if you talk to people, if they got the inside track, if they got some inside information, well, then I'm gonna fall back.
yeah.
Because they have more information than I have. And I don't know really if the news media, and I don't trust the news media, but if you got an inside source that says, hey man, oh girl, off the chain, and they don't have no bias against her.
I would tell you an outlet that I do trust.
Okay.
Roland Martin. I do trust Roland Martin because Roland gives it to everybody. He doesn't care who you are. He gives it to everybody.
What's that thing he wears? A little apricot? Not apricot.
Yeah.
Ashkosh.
Ashkosh. Yeah.
Whatever it's
I
called.
saw the
Ashkosh.
interview.
Y'all is really.
What did Roland Martin say?
I saw the interview where she was on his show and he was asking her direct questions. Oh my goodness, go back and watch that.
What did she say? What did she say?
She jumped and dodged and ducked and tried to run out and try to turn left and right ways and upside and downwards. It was horrible. It was horrible. And that was after I had been looking at this situation for about 6 or 7 months prior. Mm-hmm. And I was still giving her the benefit of the doubt. But I saw her on Rolling and how she was, I was like, oh no.
So he asked, go ahead.
And I was just looking and watching and I was like, say this ain't so.
So what question did he ask her that she said some crazy stuff? He said, oh, she's guilty. Which particular question was it?
He said, why won't you just give up the receipts?
And what did she say?
Mm-hmm.
She dodged it.
What was her response? Do you remember what she said?
She jumped off track. She went to a completely different topic. If memory serves me right.
I was been like, because today's prices ain't yesterday's prices. Now
But go back and watch that interview with her. And then he continued to reach out to get her back on the show and she won't go back.
Well, probably because he was being a dick.
Well, that's rolling sometimes.
By asking the tough questions?
He gets passionate too.
That lady probably had a long day and she went to go find some peace on a black man's show and she can't even get it there. She can't get peace nowhere.
She thought she was going to BS him. That's what she thought.
Listen, hold on. Listen.
I don't believe she thought that at all. Not dealing with Roland. Period.
So listen to this. I don't believe in Kamala Harris at all. Not at all. I don't believe in Kamala Harris at all because I knew about her years ago. Okay, but I'm in the state of California. Oh my God. So I got an inside track on her, and I met the Honorable Mayor Willie Brown. But I'll keep that conversation private. Okay.
Okay, now, but I can say this week we're gonna jump back to that.
Go ahead.
Oh,
no, go ahead.
So all I'm saying is, it does sound bad, but when I'm asking certain questions, until we see those governing documents for that city of Dalton that state what her powers are and are not, that have to be, voted on by the board, except for the hiring and firing that they established in December of 2023, we're just guessing. And the news media is going to
provide the receipts. That would solve so many of her issues.
Did she keep the receipts? Well, wait a minute.
I know I throw my receipts away after I buy something.
Hold on. No, wait a minute. Hold on a second. This is no. Let's track this. Hold on a second. This is about money. And I
put them on Fetch and then I throw them away.
No, because you can track money. Because you can track money on a government official. Because when
how many Walmart receipts y'all got stuck in your pockets?
Hold on a second. When she got the money, what account did she get the money from? And who signed off on that? Because it had to be probably 1 or 2 signatures from from
Oh,
Dalton
God.
officials. Okay, so that's the first thing. Who signed off on her to get that money to buy that truck at $70,000? Because she wouldn't buy herself. And when she
Nobody.
bought,
They did not
Okay.
sign off.
She ain't need
okay,
no cosigner.
so hold on a second. That don't sound right. No, that don't sound right.
Well, that's not necessarily true. I mean, like, all right, so I have a government credit card, right? It's activated
Okay.
right now. I can go
Yeah.
out there, go to the strip club, and make it rain.
Right.
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. Wait a minute.
I don't need
Hold on.
authorization.
If you have a government,
but
if you have a government credit card,
Yeah.
that means they can pull that statement. So who has access to pull that statement besides you?
That's how they got the numbers. They were able to pull
Well,
it.
then they okay. So then they do have the financial statements because they have access to it, which means they had access from the very beginning, which is what Wanda said. And if
That's
they were
one of-
watching
not
her,
necessarily. I could use my credit card. I can go to the ATM. I can pull out some cash and use it to do things I shouldn't be using government funds for. But the trail stops at that ATM. So there's other ways
on that
like
truck,
she's
but
smart.
on that truck,
there's other
on
ways
that,
she could use it.
I just want to play a quick clip
okay.
of Roland Martin before we end, for educational purposes only. That way you get a feel of who you're dealing with.
Okay, sounds good. Well, wait. Come back up for. Okay, never mind.
I can't hear nothing.
Can't hear anything.
Okay, lace front, lay.
Yes, I'm not hearing anything. There's no sound.
Yeah, we can't hear it. Can you hear it?
Were you able to hear it, Richard?
I can't hear anything.
Okay, give me 1 second. Let me retry that.
Y'all so proper. I can't hear anything. I'm up there. I can't hear nothing.
Listen, when you're on these videos, we don't know who's tuning in. We don't know if someone's going to come back down the road and try to use this against us. Not y'all, me. So I'm always kind of straight. Because you put anything up on the internet.
I know you always get on your shirt always all starched up, ready to go.
Not this
I mean,
one, but
clean.
No.
It looks starched.
Like you get on here all the time, like.
Because anytime.
Wait, what time is it where you live? Because you still got on like.
It's early where he at.
When I put this on, this is like 7, almost 8 o'clock here. So
okay.
It's time for pajamas.
Is this up on Facebook? So you never know who's watching you.
I'm in pajamas.
I just want you to know that this is her sitting with Roland directly, and he's asking her about an illegal.
Look at that
check.
face. She like, I know this nigga didn't just ask me that. Go ahead.
So I just want to play this small snippet, and then I highly
looking like this mother asked me this on national TV.
Yes,
that's that face. But carry on. Go ahead.
I highly encourage you to continue to watch the rest of this actual interview.
Just say my name. You say you don't have a foundation.
I do not. And that's why I tell everybody, go do your research. I'm not on anything.
Okay. I followed that up a little bit later in the interview with this.
Why he look AI?
So I asked you before we went to the break that I talked about again this charity and the Illinois Attorney General's office. This is from CBS affiliate there. Says that the accusation comes at the same time the Illinois Attorney General's office told Henyard's charity multiple times in recent months to stop improperly soliciting donations because it had not registered with the state as required by law. And you said that's not your charity. Okay. So were you ever? So show the video here. I'm trying to understand this here. So this is a video of you marching with the charity.
Yeah.
So what is this?
So what they're not telling you is we literally walked to Springfield to create a bill to help anybody that suffered from cancer, whether it's the village of Dalton, Thornton Township, and then I increased it to the state of Illinois. And that bill will help people by giving them $10,000. And that's a bill that we actually are initiating, and we're still working on it. When I went through the Republican states, the Republican areas, we didn't have any issue. Everybody was on board because everybody is suffering from cancer, or know someone that passed or is actually going through it. So that was the whole purpose of the walk, to basically bring awareness and bring people together. That's what the whole purpose of it is.
But if you had, so there were folks with signs saying Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation.
Yeah.
Who was that?
What do you mean? It's everybody. Everybody was there.
No. What I'm saying is, what is the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation? You said it's not affiliated with you at all.
Correct.
Well, what is it?
So someone made up a foundation. They named it after me, and they like my work that I do in the community, and it's called Tiffany Henyard Cares. So
I'm going to pause it right there because that's who we're dealing with.
No. Listen to what she said. She said someone created a foundation and named it after her. That's what she said. That's what she said.
I know what she said. I know exactly what she said.
Run it back. She said, that's not my foundation. Someone created a foundation and named it after me. That's not her foundation. She didn't know.
Your mic sounds funny again.
Sounds off again.
So she doesn't have an organization or a foundation.
Correct.
She just happens to be walking.
Yes.
Which I like. This is one of the things that I do dig about it, because she was trying to create a bill, which I think is absolutely perfect for the exact right reason.
She didn't do anything
However,
wrong. She told you it wasn't her foundation.
And then she begins to say that a foundation literally named after her.
No, she said someone created a foundation and named it after her. Go back and read it. Listen to it again carefully.
I heard what she said.
She did not say it was her foundation.
I heard what she said, but I also hear what she didn't say. And what she didn't say is, all right, let me go ahead and come clean.
Let me say something right here. I got to jump in right here. So, yeah, the bill was never filed, and when she went to the state legislatures, they weren't even in session. These cats were off. The bill was never filed. When she did all that, they were off, right? And she spent, it was for $10,000. She spent $11,500 on hotels, restaurants, and other businesses during that journey.
The bill was not her responsibility because the foundation is not her foundation. She said
the bill is her. She said the bill is her responsibility.
She said the bill was her responsibility. Someone created a charity in her name because they liked her work.
Yeah, okay. Mm-hmm. Fair enough. That's true.
So what she didn't say is, I was probably trying to bring light to a situation, but I was also finna game these motherfuckers.
No, because if she had created that foundation, there's going to be some type of legal document with her name saying, I'm creating this foundation. And there's no document that can be found to say that that's her foundation. Now, those are facts.
Well, yeah, that's the bull crap that she was kicking.
No, that's the accurate statement. That's not bull crap. That's natural truth. And sometimes
your mic still sound crazy as hell.
Yeah, but if she also stated $10,000 to help out with cancer, and she stated that she started a bill which was never filed, but she spent $11,500 on this bicycle ride, this march, to get people to the state capitol when the state was out of session, to give them $10,000. So you spend $11,500 to give.
So you still got, you still down one.
Yeah.
Well, now initially you may be down one, but if the bill had gone through, we don't know how much money would have been created to help people who have cancer. We don't know.
Yeah. If the bill,
I agree.
If it was filed. If it was filed.
If it was filed.
Yeah, operative word being if. That's a correct statement.
Here's the one thing that I know about politicians. When you're trying to raise this money and do all these different things, hopefully your staff is making sure that you're signing off on all the financials, and you're aware of it, and everything is going to be processed correctly. So in other words, you can't be the figurehead and also be, watching every dime, but you have to be accountable for the money. So every politician knows this. So she didn't really lie to Roland Martin. She just simply said that someone liked her work. They created a foundation, but stuck her name on it. But she failed, like you said, she didn't admit that she failed to go to the Congress, the state, the government on the correct day and file that bill. She fell short on that. That's a mistake.
Look,
she could acknowledge that. She could have.
I agree with you. She didn't really lie. She just kind of lied.
Well,
I mean, they got a picture of her bike, and it has Super Mayor. She goes by that. Tiffany A. Henyard Cares Foundation. I get what you're saying, Rich, but she is not doing a good job of separating herself from the foundation. And I get it because look at the paperwork. Okay. I'm trying to find the paperwork.
Well, but listen. In this country, I don't know about other countries, but in this country, when you're running for city mayor, governor, you're running for the board, you'll say and damn near do anything to get your name out there. And bad press is just as good press. Yeah. So, people come up with all these crazy car salesman type slogans. I know the slogans that I said, but I meant what I said. But so all these politicians will do all kinds of crazy stuff across the nation, trying to get elected because you're trying to motivate the American taxpayer. Can you please come out and vote for me?
Yeah.
And getting people to vote for you is really hard.
Yeah.
Ask Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. They'll do anything right now to get a vote. Anything.
Yeah.
They would send their moms and dads and anybody else in their family to Russia to get a vote. They would. Anything.
Yeah.
Because that desire to get all that power, boy, you'll pull a stunt. And then you have the lobbyists telling you, you're going to do this, this, and this if you want our money. Now, I don't know about any lobbyists supporting her. I don't know.
No, do I. I just want to show this one more time. I'm gonna just show it. I'm not gonna play it.
No, play it. If it's a part, I would like to hear it myself too.
I was just gonna pull that picture back up because that's what but that's not hers, right? It's not hers.
You know what? They named it after me. And work that I do in the community, and it's called Tiffany Henyard Cares. So we all went.
Now, but they weren't registered. Have you contacted them and told them you can't use my name improperly?
Uh-oh.
Well, my lawyer's handling a lot of that stuff, so all I can tell you is that I'm not the one on anything. That's the only thing I can tell you right now. So I'm just trying to answer to the.
So you're saying there's a foundation that's not registered, but it has nothing to do with you.
Correct. That's true.
Okay.
That's
so you're not aware of any of the work that they've done, money that they've raised, anything along those lines.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how I feel, Roland. That's how I feel.
But fact, she said, my lawyers are handling that.
Yeah. She made the exact same statement when being interviewed by other news outlets because she didn't want to, who were asking her fair and unbiased questions. They were simply asking the questions for the tax people. Right. Listen, and it was, well, where is this? Where is this? Where is this? Well, I don't know. My lawyer's handling that.
So if she was going on these interviews.
Oh, she went, well, that was
her lawyers have already told her, okay, this is what you can say. This is what you cannot say. So she's going under the advice of counsel. But here's the second thing. When I saw that vehicle and I saw that big old picture of her.
Just saying.
Because I've run campaigns. And let me tell you something. Mm-hmm. To take a picture and blow it up like that without losing definition and put it on the vehicle, that's going to cost you some money.
Yeah.
That I know.
Yeah.
That I know. So
yeah.
I know that. Oh, yes. Because it takes a special camera, a high resolution camera to shoot that kind of picture to where it can be spread out without losing definition. And I can clearly see it looked good on that white vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
She was born in 83. I think ain't her birthday like May something 83?
Yeah,
I think so. I know it's 83.
She is a when's her birthday? She's born 1983. I don't have the exact birthday month. Yeah, I don't have the birthday month. But she's born in 1883. And that's why I'm kind of like, I think it's just interesting with her because she hasn't maybe done everything perfectly right, but she's not this villain that they're trying to make her out to be either. I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't think she's Cruella de Vil, right? I don't think she's Cruella de Vil, but I think she is Cruella.
You know, if you say, well, what about Marion Barry? Okay, you got me. Okay. You know, I can't really get him out of smoking crack. I can't get him out of that one. We all have addictions. And, you know, he did, if I remember correctly, he's the one that ensured that Mr. Bob Johnson got that big old contract for BET, and now Bob Johnson's off to the races.
Yeah.
But, you know, did he have a perfect behavior in office, Marion Barry? No. But he got reelected.
Yeah. Did he crash anybody's? That part. That part. About to say, but did he crash anybody's total society?
I don't
Economic society? I don't think he did.
Marion
I
Barry?
don't think he did either.
Marion Barry was interesting.
Yeah. And I also think that there's something different about being a savvy politician versus being a truthful person. I think there's a line that can be drawn. I think one of the issues that you might have had, Richard, is that you're a truthful person, right? Yeah. You're going to be a truthful person as best as you can be, and that doesn't align with politics.
Correct.
That's correct. It's very loosely tied. Well, you'll have a politician to be like, you know what that joker said is true, but I can take that at face value. Right. So I think she's a ridiculously savvy politician, but that does not mean that she's a truthful person.
Ooh, Tiffany?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say she's savvy. I don't think she's I think she's charismatic. I don't think she's savvy at all.
The reason why I say that, because she was able to, off the top of her head, well, you know, my lawyer's handling that. So I don't personally she was able to shift it.
And she told the truth. Because most politicians most politicians are not going to know all the weeds. They're not going to go deep into the weeds. They'll stay above the weeds because when they're doing their sales pitches, people don't want to go in the weeds. You give people superficial. So Donald Trump is brilliant at it. We're going to shut the border down. Whether he's going to do it or not, it's within 3 or 4 seconds and you can memorize it. President Obama did the same thing. Yes, we can. It don't matter what he says. Yes, we can. And he says it, and he gets you to believe in that. So he can tell you anything after that.
Yeah, there's a whole psychology behind it that I looked into a while ago.
Marketing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about the truth. It's just the voters are kind of like a jury. The truth doesn't really matter unless it's just so horrendously true that you can't get around it. It's about how do I make a voter or a person on the jury feel? I think Johnny Cochran was a master as a black man of making the jury feel good.
Okay.
A master. I mean, I've seen him go on talk shows about O.J. Simpson and the crowd be screaming at him, "Oh, boo!" He sits down, and when he's done talking, you hear a pin drop.
Yeah.
He went on Jay Leno or Johnny. I think it was Jay Leno, and Jay was talking shit about OJ, and the crowd was riling him on. And by the time Johnny got done, it was like, okay, fine. Just can't deal. And I've never seen a black man do that. Just talk someone down without being a black preacher style. He's just very calm and just walk you down. But then Obama showed up later on. But those are those are such rare individuals. Everybody else has to be a Donald Trump. We have to bring up the excitement. You know, Kamala Harris is trying to do that right now. She doesn't want to say yes. She doesn't want to say no. She doesn't say anything, but she's always smiling. She's always happy. So she keeps your guard down.
Yeah.
Your guard's not up with her. So it doesn't matter if she's being wishy-washy or not. She's not going to tell you anything. And that's how, if she wins the White House, that's how she won it. She didn't tell you a damn thing.
I don't know. I think there are certain things that she's been pretty direct about, but there are some things she's very wishy on. I will say that.
If you were from the state of California, well, you lived here for a while.
Yeah.
With Kamala Harris, I'm not saying she's perfect. I'm not saying she's evil. But this idea that she's going to do all these amazing things is a complete lie. It's a complete lie. I love Kamala. We share the same favorite cuss word. Oh, no, that's fine. But, and here's another thing about this. I'm going to call her by what she says her name is, Kamala. She says that's how her mother, and I'm not going to disrespect her mother. She says that's what her mother named her, and that's how she said it.
Yeah, but Trump calls her Kamala.
Yeah, a lot of people call her Kamala. Now, to me, I think that's a little racist.
Yeah, and not just that. Even after she told people, when she introduced herself to former President Trump, she told him her name. And unfortunately, a lot of the spin from that came from Judge Joe Brown when he called her "come on you," disrespectfully.
Now, I like Judge Joe Brown a lot. Is he right on every single thing he says? I don't know. But he has so much information that's on a database that he can spill out. He's really similar to the Honorable Minister Farrakhan. When they start giving you all that information, they're coming 100 miles an hour at you. But she says that her mother named her Kamala, and it's pronounced Kamala. I'm going to give her respect, because if her mother was a black woman and she said that, hey, my mama's black and she named me Kamala, I'm not going to disrespect that black woman's mama. So even though her mother's not black, I'm going to still give her that respect. This is where Donald Trump is making a mistake. This is where he's making one of his mistakes. So a person like me that could be sympathetic to Donald Trump, I can't vote for you because I think you have a certain level of prejudice, which is not more than other white men possibly. But when you refuse to say sorry, to give an apology to the Central Park Five, I can't get down with you.
That was the thing.
I could have been one of those Central Park Five.
Yeah.
So, people say, well, if you're not for Kamala, you must be voting for Donald Trump. No, because I don't trust the Democrat or the Republican. Well, then who are you voting for? There's nobody else to vote for. Oh, really? That's how you get down in America? You give me my two options, and the lobbyists pay off both options.
They do. But tonight we'll end it there. We won't do final thoughts because I think there's still a lot to look into when it comes to
Tiffany and Adams.
Yeah. And also there's another thing that we're going to introduce next week, and it's it's going to be the 10 Commandments in schools. Right? Louisiana has a bill that's being presented, and then Oklahoma is pushing a very similar thing.
Big mistake. Big mistake. Righteous. It's righteous. But just because you and I may believe in God through Jesus Christ, that don't mean everybody else does. Right.
And so they're flirting with a situation that can backfire horribly with them.
Because I'm ready for one of the Satanists to show up and say, well, I want my stuff put in school too.
And that's what's going to happen.
Oh, yes.
That's what's going to happen. There's a separation of church and state for a reason. But that's for next week.
So that's for next Wednesday night. Now, are you still doing this Friday or no?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Then I'll see you on Friday.
Yeah, we got other topics coming up on Friday.
Okay.
We tend to do more political, geographic politics, geopolitical, economic, and socioeconomic topics on Wednesdays, and Fridays it's more of the everyday life, what we're dealing with. Like, I'll give you part of what we got coming up for this Friday is like adulting. How the hell did we get here? We were just kids yesterday. We weren't worried about having to go to court or a bill that we got due, or what we got to make the kids for dinner, or getting up and having to go to work tomorrow. We wasn't worried about that.
Wait a minute, but isn't Didi going back to court tomorrow for his appeal?
For bail.
For bail?
Yeah.
I hope he gets it.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read about that tomorrow.
Okay, sounds good.
We can further that discussion on another segment also.
All right, sounds good.
So it was great hanging out again as always. Love the discussion, and thank everybody for hanging out with us. We had 2 hours and 2 hours 25. I got to get to bed. I got to be up early. I got to get to work early.
Sounds good. All right.
So thank y'all for hanging out. Yeah, right. God bless and good night.
Good night.